welcome to my channel. My name is Erica, and today's video is episode 6 of my makeup and artist series that I do here pretty much monthly on my channel. I think I was a little late getting my last one up in time for the last month. I can't even remember now when I uploaded it, but here we are for episode 6. Now, I am a huge fan of an all-female rock group known as the Go-Go's. So I'm going to be talking about them in this video today. I started listening to the Go-Go's, I think when I was like in elementary school, and just love their sound. I love their vibe. I love their style. I love everything about the Go-Go's. And I was also a huge fan of Belinda Carlisle's, who is the lead singer, when she went on her own solo career. So I just thought it would be really fun to share my love and memories of the Go-Go's with you guys in today's video. Now, the Go-Go's did release a song called Vacation when I think I was in middle school, I want to say. And that's one of my favorite songs of theirs. So I was thinking about creating like a look with a vacation type palette, and it took me a minute to figure this out. But then I remembered I have the Saints, Angels, Sinners, and Not Your Basic Steph's Pier palette. And this is where I would love to go on a vacation. It's gorgeous. I love the front of the palette here. And this is my favorite palette that I have in my collection, not just because it belongs to my best friend and sister, but because it's just such an incredible palette. The arrangement of it is absolutely stunning. I love the row of mattes up here. Then we have 2 rows of just beautiful shimmer shades with varying different textures. And then we have a row of multi-chrome shimmers down here that are just stunning. So yeah, I think for this look today, I'm going to be using Saint and Cocoa as my mattes. And then I think for my shimmer shades today, I'm trying to decide exactly what to use. I think I'm going to use Vamp or Red Carpet. And then I also think I'm going to use either Honeybee or Purple Rain. Not exactly sure yet. And I'm going to pop one of these beautiful multi-chrome shades in my inner corners. Yeah! So I think what I'll do initially is start off by putting Saint in my transition areas, and then I'll put Cocoa in my outer V into my crease area. And just get started on giving you guys some really fun information about the Go-Go's. Okay, so I need to grab a little brush here. Going into the Lavender Matte Saint. So of course the Go-Go's are an American all-female rock band. And when I saw them for the first time, I'm pretty sure it was on MTV, I was just captivated by the fact that here is this all-female rock group. That was my first experience with an all-female rock group, you know. And I have always wanted to learn how to play the drums since I was a little kid, and my mom was like, no, you're not playing the drums. I can't handle that in this house. But honestly, I have thought off and on throughout my adult life, my whole life really, about learning how to play the drums. And I've really seriously been considering it for a few months now. So I might do that. I don't know. We do have a musical lesson store close by. I think it's called the Music Lesson Store, pretty sure, or the Lesson Store or something like that. And they do teach people how to play the drums. So you never know. This channel might turn into Erica Learns How to Play the Drums channel. So the main lineup of the Go-Go's that most of us are familiar with, if we are fans of the Go-Go's, which I hope we all are here. Belinda Carlisle is the lead singer. And then Charlotte Caffey played the guitar and the keyboards. Kathy Valentine played the bass guitar, Gina Shock played the drums, and then Jane Whelan played the rhythm guitar. And they formed actually in 1978 in LA. They were a huge part of the punk scene at that time. And the original lineup did not include Gina Shock or Kathy Valentine. When they first got formed, Margot Oliveira, I believe is how you pronounce her last name, was the bass player, and then Alyssa Bello played the drums. And when they first got started in 1978 in LA, you know, punk band, they had some pretty deep roots in the punk community there. Also, when they first got started, they shared rehearsal space with a band called the Motels, which I'm pretty sure they sing the song Only the Lonely. I'm almost positive. I will link a couple of the Motels songs in my description box so you guys can check out that band if you haven't yet already. It's a good band. I really like their music too. Not as familiar with all of their music or more of their music than I am with the Go-Go's, but still liked the Motels when I was growing up too. Also, Belinda Carlisle, the lead singer, she was briefly a member of a punk band called The Germs, and she went by the stage name Dottie Danger. And apparently, they were practicing and stuff together, but before they could perform publicly together, she got really ill. I don't know exactly what kind of illness she had, but at that point, she decided to separate from the band and just focus on their band. Now, initially, they were not called the Go-Go's, they were called the Misfits, and they would play gigs at clubs like The Mask, MASQUE, and then also Whiskey A Go-Go in San Francisco. They performed alongside other punk bands known as X, Fear, The Plugs, and The Controllers, which I am not familiar with any of those bands at all. As time went on though, like into the early 80s, Alyssa Bello decided to leave the group, and so that's when they brought in Gina Shock, who honestly is one of my favorite drummers to ever drum. I just think she's amazing. She's super talented, really fun to watch. Like, she's super animated, and I just love her. I just think she's awesome. Okay, I'm done with this shade. The weird thing is though, it's kind of turning almost like a purpley blue right there, but I have some really dry skin on my eyelids lately. I don't know what's going on. I gotta really up my skincare because it's driving me bonkers. So now I'm gonna go into Cocoa, putting that in my outer V and in my crease. But when Gina Shock joined the band, they kind of started to pull away from the punk sound and went with more of a pop rock sound. And at this point, they were known to commonly meet up at a Denny's on Hollywood Boulevard and like plan out their songs, their lyrics, their sets, and things like that. And there was another band that was getting a lot more recognition called the Misfits. They were getting really popular, so they were like, they didn't want to have two bands called the Misfits. So that is when they changed their name to the Go-Go's during one of their Denny's meetups. Now in 1979, the band recorded a 5-song demo at Gold Start Studios in LA. And in 1980, they spent half the year touring England, earning a sizable following and releasing the demo version of We Got the Beat on Stiff Records. This became a semi-big hit in the UK, but that was the first song I ever heard from the Go-Go's. And I was 6 years old in 1980, so I was in the first grade. And I can remember very vividly hearing that song on the radio and just loving their sound, just loving it. And again, like I mentioned earlier, when I was, watching MTV and seeing them perform, or seeing their videos, I guess, and just realizing that this band was all women, I was just like, I'm sold, man. I am sold. This is so fun, so amazing. In December of 1980, Margot Oliveira, the original bassist, fell ill and just was not able to like rehearse or practice with them or continue to join them at their various performances around the town. So she was replaced by Kathy Valentine. And Kathy, I guess, would be, more well known as being part of the Go-Go's, their kind of their group that was performing in the 80s and stuff. That's, was Kathy. So I didn't realize that there were other members of the group, because that's not the Go-Go's that I was familiar with. I was familiar with Gina and Kathy being a part of the Go-Go's versus Margot and Alyssa. And I'm really liking this, but I need to go back with the Saint shade and blend that out. That got way too out of control. So I'm going with Saint and blend that out. But I guess the rumors kind of started flying around that Margot was really not a fan of the fact that the band, when Gina came on, was having more of a pop rock sound. She just was not into that. She really wanted to stay true to their punk roots. So there are some rumors that actually she left the band because of that. I don't know if that's true, but that's the rumor that I read about. But in 1982, Margot actually sued the band for like wrongful termination, basically. So I don't really know, obviously, the whole story here. I mean, I'm not a part of the band. I was a little kid when all this was going on. But yeah, there's just some kind of interesting stories about if Margot was booted off the band or if she left the band because she didn't like the sound. I don't know. And in 1984, that lawsuit was settled and Margot ended up going and playing for another band. I'm actually gonna take my e.l.f. contour palette and take this edge down because I got that real edgy. In 1982, though, they released their first album, which was called Beauty and the Beat. And that was a huge surprise success. I mean, I don't think they knew that it was going to be as successful as it was. And I'm not sure that the music industry in general was even realizing how successful that album was going to be, or what a hit it was with so many people. I mean, people just fell in love with the Go-Go's with that album. Now that topped the US charts for 6 weeks in 1982 and eventually went double platinum. So that's really cool. And also this album was very successful outside of the US, charting at number 2 in Canada and went certified platinum and number 27 in Australia. And also in 2003, this album was listed as number 413 on Rolling Stone's top 500 albums of all time. Now, this album had newer versions of We Got the Beat and also Our Lips Are Sealed. And that's another song that I absolutely love from the Go-Go's and remember hearing that all the time on the radio. I can remember us playing outside in the summer, like we had a swimming pool in my backyard or like the slip and slide. And quite commonly, we would be listening to the Go-Go's. The neighborhood that I lived in, there were some older kids that lived, around me. And we'd all play together in the summer. And they, had boom boxes and stuff. And so I remember one of my neighbors had this tape. And, it's a miracle that that tape survived. I don't know, maybe it didn't. Because that's primarily what we would be listening to were the Go-Go's at that time. Okay, I love how this all blended together. I kind of blew it up a little too much, but I'm liking it, I'm liking it. So now for the shimmers. I think I will go into Vamp and put that right here. And then I think what I might do is pop Red Carpet in the center. And then I think I'm gonna go with, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Purple Rain towards the front of the lid. I think that'll look really pretty. Also in 1982, with this album, Beauty and the Beat, and their songs, We Got the Beat and Our Lips Are Sealed, they were nominated for a Grammy for Best New Artist. So that is awesome. Now the follow-up album, which was titled Vacation, which this look is based on, the song Vacation, was not as successful as Beauty and the Beat. I mean, I felt it was really successful, but apparently in terms of like where it charted and the success of the album just wasn't as successful as Beauty and the Beat. Kind of had like mixed reviews among the critics. It did go certified gold in the United States and put out a top 10 US hit with the title song, Vacation. The group actually went on a hiatus for a little while towards the end of 1983 because Gina Shock, their drummer, needed to have surgery for a congenital heart defect. And I'm actually just gonna take this shimmer all the way out to the edge here, as I'm sure you could tell. In 1984, they released another album called Talk Show, and that had the songs Head Over Heels, which I just love, and also the song Turn to You. And those were both top 40 hits in the United States. And again, I was listening to those songs constantly too. And I had the tape Vacation, and I also had the tape Talk Show. And eventually I did get the tape Beauty and the Beat as well. And I just loved listening to their music. I love to stand in front of my full-length mirror with my brush as a microphone and pretend that I was Belinda Carlisle. I did that all the time. And also, I just wanted to be Gina Shock. Like, she was my absolute drumming idol at that point in my life. I just loved seeing their videos, seeing her play the drums, seeing all of them play their, chosen instruments, watch and listen to Belinda Carlisle sing her lungs out. I loved her voice. And also their videos were so fun. They just always looked like they were having such a good time together, They really did. I was just like, man, that would be so cool to be a member of the Go-Go's. I love this. This is looking really pretty. I like the depth that Vamp is bringing to the look I love it. I love the shimmer. It's beautiful. But of course, I'm getting that wonky edge. So I'm going to go back around with this brush, my Refer 13, with just a little bit of cocoa and take that edge down. The weird thing about this album, what was it called? Talk Show? Duh. It sold less than the previous two and didn't reach the top 10. And it didn't receive like any certifications, which I think is strange because I really liked Talk Show, the album. I mean, you know, the songs, those two songs did well off of the album, but the album itself just, I don't know, just didn't do very well, which kind of surprises me, honestly. Now, at this point is when some things started to kind of go south for the Go-Go's. There was some drug addiction issues going on. There was some infighting going on, some jealousy, you know, things like that. You know, Belinda Carlisle and Jane Wiedlin were kind of like the focus of the band, like in the public spotlight, I guess, if that makes any sense. They were just seen as like the most popular members of the group. And here we have these other three ladies that are also a part of this group that aren't getting like the notoriety or the maybe publicity as Jane and Belinda were. So in 1984, Jane Wiedlin just left the group. She was like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with the addiction stuff that's going on here. I can't remember if she had addiction issues. I know Belinda Carlisle did. I just don't remember for sure. And she was actually replaced by Paula Jean Brown, which I didn't realize that. I don't know why, but I just didn't realize that. Now that lineup stayed the same through 1985 until they went to the Rock in Rio Festival. And they played 2 shows during that festival. And at that point, Charlotte Caffey, their guitarist, and Belinda Carlisle were just not into it anymore. From what I read, it was like their hearts just were not into it anymore. And, you know, they were dealing with some addiction issues and whatnot. And they just decided, we're gonna get out of this. So at that point, the group disbanded. All right, so now I'm trying to decide if I really need this in the look or if I just want to stick with Purple Rain. And I think actually, what I'm afraid of is that this is kind of going to swallow that up. So I think I'm just going to stick with Purple Rain, put that towards the front of the lid. But in 1990, the classic Go-Go's lineup, which was Charlotte, Belinda, Jane, Kathy, and Gina, they joined forces again. Hooray. And they played a benefit for the California Environmental Protection Act, which was a ballot initiative at that time. And they also re-recorded the song Cool Jerk, which I can't believe I forgot to mention that until now. That was one of their first songs that got really popular. And that was very well received. And, you know, their fans were thrilled that they were back together and had reunited. It was just wonderful. And also at that time, they recorded a greatest hits compilation, which had that newer version of Cool Jerk on it. Also in 1994, the same classic Go-Go's lineup released a 2-disc retrospective entitled Return to the Valley of the Go-Go's. And I don't know that I remembered that. When I read that, I was like, interesting. Now the band toured again together to release that 2-disc album, but Charlotte Caffey was pregnant at the time, so there was another woman by the name of Vicki Peterson, who was an ex-Bangle, that took her place during that tour of that 2-disc album. Now in 1997, apparently, and I didn't realize this, but Gina Schock, the drummer, she sued the band saying that she wasn't being adequately compensated, I guess as much as the rest of the band was. I don't have any knowledge of that. I didn't know that that had happened, which kind of surprises me because, you know, I was still a huge fan of the Go-Go's. And, you know, I was really into watching MTV and hearing all the gossip. So I just don't remember that. If I heard it, I just don't remember it. But by 1999, that suit apparently had been resolved and she continued to tour with the Go-Go's. They continued to, you know, do some concert touring throughout the end of the 90s. In 2001, the band, still with the classic lineup, released an album of new material called God Bless the Go-Go's. Green Day's lead singer Billie Joe Armstrong co-wrote the only released single, which was Unforgiven. And I don't remember that song, which seems weird to me too. I don't remember it at all. I don't even know if I've heard that song. But I do want to find that song and listen to it. And of course, just like I do with all of these episodes, I'm going to link a ton of the Go-Go's music in my description box. So if you are not familiar with the Go-Go's, or you want to re-familiarize yourself with them and just love the Go-Go's music for a while, please go and listen to the songs I'm going to link in the description box, because they just were awesome. You know, they really were. And I love the Purple Rain shade. Love it. I feel like I'm having a tough time though getting that harsh edge to blend out. And maybe it's just not going to blend out today. I don't know. Sometimes I just am not real great at that. Just kind of depends. And as you know, time went on, they would continue to tour together like into the 2000s. I think their last tour was what, 2019, I believe. And of course, you know, Belinda Carlisle and Jane Wiedlin both went and had their own solo careers, which I just love Belinda's solo career. She had Heaven is a Place on Earth and I Get Weak, and I think there was a couple other songs that she released that were really popular, and I just love that, you know. And I can remember watching her videos and thinking that she was one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen. And I remember she had like a bob haircut, and it was like that deep kind of, I don't know, brownish red, and it just looked so like luxurious and amazing. I wanted to be her. Absolutely, I did. I did get her haircut, and I just didn't have enough hair for it to look that great on me. But man, I just thought she was one of the most beautiful. I still think she's one of the most beautiful women in the world. I really do. I think they're all beautiful, and they're all just so absolutely incredibly talented, you know, just such great musicians. I mean, they rival most men that are musicians, you know what I mean? Like I listen to the way they play their instruments, and in comparison to a lot of the, you know, top male rockers, and I think, yeah, move over, you guys got some competition, because they're all just so talented, just amazing. I think I will go back around with this brush and just kind of blend a little bit more if I can. I'm just having a tough time with that Vamp shade, getting it to blend out. It's nothing wrong with the shade, it's just my not the greatest blending skills. Now, throughout the years of 2020 to 2023, the Go-Go's were inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame. And at that particular ceremony, Drew Barrymore got to like announce that. And I don't know if she like emceed that or exactly how you word that, but she was the one that got to announce at the presentation that they were being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I guess Drew Barrymore is a huge fan of the Go-Go's, so that was cool. They also had a documentary made about them in 2023 that was released on Showtime. Well, initially it was released at the Sundance Film Festival, and then it was released on Showtime. And for whatever reason, the article that I read does not list the name of that documentary. So I'm going to try to find that. I meant to do that before I sat down to film, and I forgot because I don't remember much lately, but I'll try to find the name of that documentary and pop that in a pinned comment in my comment section. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, I have not seen that, and I would really like to see it. I did watch a behind the music on the Go-Go's, like, I don't know when that was, several years ago. I think when my daughter was little baby. And love that, you know, and got to see a very wild side of the Go-Go's because, you know, I don't know. I mean, of course, they always looked like they were having fun and stuff, but to find out that there was some, you know, pretty significant addiction stuff going on, and just, you know, wild parties, and sounds like Belinda Carlisle was just a total hoot. She was doing all kinds of wild and crazy stuff. But, you know, just interesting to hear them all talk about their careers and, you know, just kind of the groundbreakingness of being an all-female band, because, you know, the Bangles, sure, I mean, obviously they were super successful too and absolutely amazing. But in the late 70s, to be in the punk scene as an all-female band, and then to continue and be so successful, even though their sound did change, was just amazing, you know. And like I've mentioned multiple times throughout this video, very inspiring to me, very motivational for me, and just made me realize that, like, as a woman, you know, you can do whatever you want. You can be successful as a musician. I mean, it just opened the doors for so many things for me in terms of being a woman and being successful and just pursuing your dreams and your goals. And I've always really looked up to them for feeling that way. And I just was very grateful to have that exposure to them at such a young age, and then just to continue to be a lifelong fan of their music. I would say that my favorite song of theirs is probably Our Lips Are Sealed. I love Vacation too, but I think Our Lips Are Sealed is probably my favorite song from the Go-Go's. So I think I'm pretty much done here. I'm gonna go clean this up, do my lower lash lines, the rest of my face, dry my hair, and I will come back. So this is my finished look, and I really like how this look turned out. I just love that eyeshadow palette. It's so fun to put looks together with that palette. Oh, and I really think I'm going to be doing another multiple looks video with that soon, because I just want to play with it all the time. And because I have other palettes in my life, I don't do that, but I really want to do another multiple looks video with it. So I'm going to show you the palette again, but let me show you just a few things I threw on my face for my finished look. On my lips, I used a Beauty Moon Cosmetics multi-chrome lipstick in the shade 04. It is so beautiful. Purple, pink, lavender, magenta, blue, just so many cool reflex and shifty things going on my lips today. And I just thought this would look really cool with my eye look today. And I just love it. And then for my upper lid liner, I'm using the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Felt Tip Liner in black. I love this. And then I'm still using this mascara that I think I got in some PR from Stalvana, I'm pretty sure. And it's spelled H-E-I-M-I-S-H. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but I'm loving this mascara. It's wonderful. It's really a nice mascara. So now let's talk about the eyeshadow palette, Steph's Pier, that Saint Angel Sinners did in collaboration with my best friend and sister, Not Your Basic Steph. Loved the shades that I put together for this look today. I do kind of wish I'd thrown Red Carpet in there too, but I'm glad that I just stuck with Vamp and Purple Rain. I just felt like that was enough. I felt like this might get swallowed up a little bit, you know, the Red Carpet shade. I don't know why, but I just did. I could have tried it, but I didn't. So let's just move on from that now. Loved both the mattes that I used on my upper lids. On my lower lash lines, I used Rock towards the outer edge, and then I put this shade here, Cocoa, to blend that out with, and then I put Saint towards the front part of my lower lash lines, and then I put Butterfly in my inner corners. This is so stunning. And what I really want to do more of when I play with this palette is put like the black matte down, or even, you know, any of these three mattes on my lids, and then top them with one of these shades down here. That's going to be really fun, especially this one here called Syracuse B-Ball, because it's kind of like an orangey, almost like an orange and blue flip. Very unique. And this is just a beautiful palette. I felt like it was perfect to pull in for this video, talking to you guys about the Go-Go's, vacation being my theme for the video, obviously. The front of that palette is a vacation I would love to have. And I would love to chat with you guys in the comment section about your memories of the Go-Go's. Are you a big fan like I am? What songs are your favorites? What albums are your favorites? What are your memories like on MTV, or did you ever see them in concert? I don't know if I would have been able to function at that concert. I would have absolutely lost my marbles. They're just such a wonderful band, and so inspirational to me as a woman to see an all-female band just rocking out, being super successful. And, you know, I just felt a lot of inspiration and motivation from that rock group growing up. You know, I really do want to pursue my dream of learning how to play the drums. I may not learn how to play them well, but I really do want to do that. And watching Gina Shock drum like an all-star has just always been such a huge inspiration. She's like my drumming idol. So, you know, you never know. I might someday come on here and maybe not impress you with a drum solo. Episode 7 of Makeup and Artists will be coming next month in May. I know who I'm covering, and I'm super excited about it, and I definitely think you guys will be too. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video, but in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.